Tell me what you see.
The ones on the ground won't see them go down.
Out of the tunnel. Green.
Watch out. Sniper.
Our story begins when a sniper unit and their team are receiving orders from a US base. Obeying the order, they shoot in unison, taking out every guard at the entrance in mere moments. Capitalizing on this opening, a separate squad breaches the building with ease. At this point, the narrative changes, showing the purpose of these snipers and what finally happens to them. The setting flashes back to an incident that took place 48 hours prior. A private aircraft touches down in the center of a desert. When the plane lands, a man emerges holding a large duffel. The chief of the US Central Intelligence Agency, named Modus, is there to greet him. We find out the man's name here. He is Brandon, an acute and skilled American marksman. Brandon has not once been unsuccessful on a mission. He always hits his mark. He has previously neutrally jed numerous dangerous mafias and a high-profile individual named Don with his sniper rifle, which is stored in his large bag. While being transported to the base, the chief of the Central Intelligence Department informs him about the mission specifics. In this discussion, we learn the reason Brandon was summoned. His assignment is to neutralize an African militant group that intends to ruin America from inside the US. Taking them out is the highest priority. While providing this explanation, Modus takes Brandon to the base. The moment he exits the vehicle, Brandon encounters an old acquaintance named Zero. Zero previously finished many hazardous assignments with him in the Central Intelligence Department. When Chief Modus sees that Brandon and Zero are already familiar, he gives Zero the job of presenting Brandon to the whole team. Zero presents his friend Brandon to the unit and introduces him to all the members. Now, let's get acquainted with this full squad. The team's special operations captain is Nova, and her second in command is Annika. The squad also features 3 expertly trained female commandos, Hira, Nadia, and Jansen. Following the introductions, Brandon inquires, "Do you have a sniper in your squad?" Just then, Chief Modus introduces a young man named John. The chief clarifies, "He is our most formidable sniper. If you wish, you can coach him in your style." They then proceed to the mission discussion. Commander Annika generates a detailed 3D map and presents the plan to the team. Utilizing the map, she clarifies that the primary target is an American terrorist known as Riker. Prior to reaching him, they must confront a rebel militant group. Riker maintains a private security detail named the 4 Gang, which offers round-the-clock protection. Chief Modus emphasizes that the mission must be carried out in total darkness, as the vicinity is saturated with security and rebel groups. If the squad is discovered, the circumstances will be uncontrollable. He proceeds to detail the infiltration strategy and the path for accessing the hideout. The following morning, rigorous training commences. Brandon gives John a sniper rifle and instructs him to fire. John lifts the rifle and executes flawlessly, achieving 3 straight headshots with precise accuracy. He issues them a test. Put together your firearm in 15 seconds. If you fail, you are removed from the mission, as the enemy will not give you 1 additional second. Every team member successfully assembles their firearm before the time expires, demonstrating their proficiency. Nonetheless, Brandon still feels uncertain about John. That evening, he pulls John away, hands him a sniper rifle, and gives a severe command. If you spot someone, shoot them in the head. John reacts with alarm, questioning why he must aim for headshots, and cautioning that those kinds of kills will attract notice and seal their fate. Brandon demands, "That is an order. Fire." John is bewildered and considers the command irresponsible. Resignedly, John peers through the sight and squeezes the trigger, discovering the weapon is unloaded. No bullet is present. John is stunned. Brandon discloses it was a test to observe how John behaves under stress and if he obeys commands. After succeeding in the test, John is selected to be Brandon's personal marksman. Later, Chief Modus gathers the full team and gives a somber briefing. He cautions them that the probability of coming back alive from this assignment is nearly nil. Consequently, we must undertake this operation prepared for death, as we are confronting both a rebel force and high-level security. Penetrating their security and neutralizing the rebels will be difficult. Following the last preparations, the squad goes to the arsenal to put together and load their firearms, don heavy equipment, and get into the vehicles. The following morning, Brandon and John establish sniper spots in the foliage on a hill approximately 500 meters from the gang's base. The other commandos commence a careful approach toward the facility from the front. This is the sequence witnessed at the film's beginning. Brandon and John are concealed in the grass, load their weapons, and await the last command. In the meantime, the remainder of the team monitors CCTV and starts eliminating guards individually as they breach the perimeter. When Brandon gets the cue, he pulls the trigger and begins eliminating the guards at the entrance. Brandon then assigns targets individually, and John shoots as directed. Incrementally, they clear the security surrounding the back of the structure. Once the perimeter is secured, the team enters the compound. Once inside, they slice fuel lines and slash tires to disable vehicles. Two commandos ascend to the upper level from a different access point and swiftly eliminate two guards who attempt to block them. In another location, a single guard is viewing a football game in a poorly lit room. A commando creeps up behind him, wraps a cord around his throat, and pulls him into the shadows. When the lights are activated, the team discovers they are in a weapons storage area, and in front of them stands the gang boss, Riker. Riker capitalizes on the situation, fires a round that hits Modus in the leg, and triggers all the alarms. Brandon commands his spotter, John, "Do not hesitate. Fire on everyone you spot." John instantly changes rifles and starts taking out hostiles one by one. Concurrently, inside the room, Riker readied his revolver. He understood the special team was enclosing him, and he was losing control of the situation. He approached a piece of equipment, took off the material covering it, and instructed his technician to activate it. The technician connected the power and turned on the machine. Persistently then, the remaining squad members, after dealing with the external guards, burst into the room and ordered Ryder to surrender. Abruptly, a huge blast came from the machine, rattling the whole room with strong radio waves. After the turmoil settled, it was evident that numerous commandos were rendered unconscious by the hazardous radiation. Then Zero, Brandon's old friend, rushed into the room from outdoors and apprehended the gang boss, Riker. Gradually, the team members started to wake up. Riker chuckled and cautioned, "You are all going to die shortly." Almost instantly, squad members began hemorrhaging from the mouth and falling over one after another. The terrible reality was revealed. The device was a high-frequency alpha radiation machine. Its emissions demolished neural pathways at a rapid pace, and any exposed individual could perish in seconds. In just moments, multiple members of the intelligence team were on the ground, seizing and bleeding. The gang leader, subjected to the identical radiation, also collapsed and perished. Brandon assumed command and informed everyone, "We cannot change what has occurred. We must get ready for the enemies heading our way. And initially, we must discover a method to disable this machine." They attempted to follow the wiring, but the machine operated on several intricate systems, and they were unable to locate the main circuit. Zero came back with critical information. A significantly larger rebel group was approaching the compound. They had no time to deactivate the machine, so they dropped that objective and got ready to confront the approaching army. They collected all available weapons and every single bullet they could locate. With scarce time, they grabbed the stockpiled mines, went to the gate, dug ditches, and planted explosives so that approaching vehicles would explode upon crossing the entry. Having set traps all over the compound, they gathered the remaining survivors. Brandon spoke to them with somber determination. "The adversary you are about to confront is akin to death," he stated. "Enter this fight accepting you might not come back. Release all emotional ties and battle with all your strength." Then Brandon positions John in the sniper position and states, "This is the last mission of your life. Here, you must demonstrate that you are the top sniper." After speaking these words, he gives the sniper rifle to Zondi and advances. On the cue, the whole team prepares their firearms and readies for contact. When the rebel vehicles crash the gate, a landmine detonation rips them apart, launching fire and wreckage skyward. The rebels immediately understand the enemy was ready. They exit their trucks and move forward on foot, fanning out over the compound. Hundreds of gunmen start pouring in from all sides. To obscure their sight, smoke grenades are thrown, blanketing the vicinity in dense gray fog. From inside the smoke, gunfire erupts in every direction. Concealed high up, he looks through his scope and begins eliminating the rebels one by one. His sniper shots break skulls with accuracy. Simultaneously, Zero fires non-stop with his heavy machine gun. In a different area, a band of rebels encircles Nadia. Equipped with axes and large knives, they rush at her. She discards her body armor, retrieves two extremely sharp Chinese axes from her back, and begins a savage counter-assault. Her actions are rapid and deadly. She slices through her attackers, felling them without mercy. When one rebel attempts to escape, she throws her axe directly into his head, killing him immediately. Concurrently, the rebels identify sniper spot and pivot their mounted machine guns to target him. A fierce firefight breaks out. To shield John, Zero and Annika fire back from the other direction. At that moment, before they are able to fire, Brandon makes an accurate shot with his sniper rifle, striking one of their RPG rounds. The subsequent blast shakes the whole vicinity, launching shrapnel into the air. In the meantime, Annika is confronted by an African female killer. A vicious hand-to-hand struggle starts. The assassin cuts Annika's ear, causing it to bleed, but Annika does not retreat. She swiftly retrieves a knife from her pocket and thrusts it directly into the assassin's eye, ending her life immediately. Simultaneously, Zero is assaulted by another killer who seizes him by the throat, attempting to strangle him. Zero snatches a fractured piece of wood from the floor, plunges it deep into the killer's torso, and then eliminates him with a bullet to the head. In another spot, Brandon engages a rebel in close quarters. Faking a surrender, he abruptly seizes the rebel's weapon and shoots her at point-blank range. But as Brandon walks down the stairs, a concealed rebel attacks him and fires. Brandon instantly returns fire, killing the rebel, but the gunfire leaves him injured. He falls to the ground, gripping his wound. Witnessing this, Zero hurries to him, attempting to staunch the bleeding. Just then, Nova runs to them, her expression full of resolve. But precisely then, a rebel shoots around directly into Nova. Gravely injured and finding it hard to breathe, faces Zero and says softly, "I spotted him in the room with the radiation device. The explosives are already set. In just a bit, the whole building will detonate, and that machine will be gone for good." With that last statement, Nova breathes her last in view of everyone. A short time later, a gigantic explosion occurs, rattling the entire facility. The room and the radiation device are totally destroyed. But before they can regroup, they spot additional rebel forces advancing on them. Abruptly, smoke grenades fly in from all directions, followed by a torrent of bullets ripping through the rebels. When the smoke starts to dissipate, Brandon and Zero are shocked by the sight. The counteroffensive was initiated by none other than Brandon's old comrade, Captain Paz, and Sergeant Jed, his most trusted associates. In the concluding sequence, Brandon is seen alive, positioned amid the wreckage of the fight. Having finished the assignment, he says goodbye to his companions. He shakes hands with all of them, and the young sniper John states with respect, "Someday I will be the best sniper, just like you." Brandon grins. He goes back to his home country, leaving a legacy of bravery, allegiance, and selflessness. The movie also ends here. Thank you for watching.